Oh, YouTube, you've done it again. Banning my video for showing meat. Pause. I meant the character, or something like that. I've got no clue because YouTube never tells you why a video is age restricted. But yeah, this video is 4 months old, so I made some basic changes and now the video is back up so everyone can watch. So please leave a like down below to help this video do better. Can that be my early Christmas gift? Just leave a like on today's video. Because I know re-uploads suck, but thankfully this video bombed, meaning most of you haven't seen it anyway, so it's gonna look new to almost everybody, which is definitely one silver lining. I'm trying to post daily this entire month, right? And so far I haven't missed a single day in December, so I'm very proud of that. Also, my scorpion weapon arrived in the mail, so look out for that in a future video very soon. I gotta do some training with it first before filming, otherwise I'm going to injure myself, so gonna be careful and take it a bit slow. Alright everyone, without any further ado, please enjoy the video and don't forget to leave a like. Let that be my Christmas gift. The Mortal Kombat series has hundreds of attacks. Some look really cool, while others look a bit goofy. And of course, most attacks fall somewhere in between. But today's video is all about the rare attacks. I'm talking moves that only appear in one Mortal Kombat game and sometimes don't even make sense for the character. So it's possible that many of you watching have never seen these attacks before, and some of them are really strange. Leave a like down below for awesome throwback videos like this. And if you're new to the channel, subscribe and ring that bell down below so you never miss any future videos. And real quick, keep in mind this video is only about Mortal Kombat fighters, so no guest characters allowed for this video since most of them are one-offs anyway, which means all of their attacks are rare by definition. Also, I sadly can't include one-off characters like Meat because, once again, all of his attacks are rare. And I want this video to be about specific attacks that are very unique and not the characters themselves, since I got dozens of videos about that already. Alright, without any further ado, let's begin. First up, we have Kitana's ball roll, which is only possible in one game, Mortal Kombat vs. DCU. That's right, I'm not counting Mortal Kombat 1, because yes, it has this move, but only during invasions, the most hated mode in Mortal Kombat history. And even then, it requires a specific amulet or relic, I forget which one, but the point is you can't use it freely. You're restricted to only one game mode and require a specific item too, which does not count in my opinion. Mortal Kombat vs. DC is the only game where Kitana can use the ball roll freely without any restrictions. And obviously this move was included for the Mileena fans since she missed out on this game, she's not playable, and so the developers gave you one of her moves as a peace offering because everyone fears the Mileena stands, alright, even back then. And honestly, I love that Midway gave Kitana this move because it makes you ponder so many fun questions. Did Kitana learn this move by watching Mileena, or was she the first one to actually use it and Mileena was copying her? Because keep in mind, Mileena is a clone after all, so it's possible that Kitana is the true master of ball rolling. Now, in terms of gameplay, this attack is super good too. You can use it for combos, and it goes under certain attacks and projectiles too. I know today's video is all about unique and rare attacks, but with that said, I want this move to come back in a future Mortal Kombat. And honestly, it's kinda shocking how MK11 didn't do that, because it gave Mileena's weapon to Kitana, but not her ball roll, and that's interesting. Alright, next up is Kabal's Nomad Touch, and this move is so bizarre, it looks weird, makes no sense for Kabal to use, and also has zero explanation for how it's happening. I want everyone watching to stare at the screen for a bit, and guess how Kabal is doing this move. How do you think it's possible? What is this man doing to make the opponent fly towards him and slam chests together? What is he doing? How is it possible? This move is confusing on so many levels. It looks weird, and it's hard to tell what's even happening, but also Kabal should not have this move. How is he magically sucking the opponent like a vacuum? If you look online, the wiki says it's telekinesis, but last time I checked, Kabal can't do that. He doesn't have telekinesis. What, is he Kenshi all of a sudden? Why is Kabal, the character known for super speed and hook swords, suddenly able to use telekinesis? How does that work? If anybody watching knows more about this move, please let me know in the comments, because from what I can tell, this move was meant for another character, most likely, but it got stuck on Kabal for whatever reason. In other words, developers wanted this move to go for a different character, but they couldn't get it to work or something, so Kabal got stuck with it instead. Like mentioned earlier, it doesn't fit his character at all and makes zero sense, but thankfully it only does damage to the opponent and is really fast, so it's actually a pretty useful attack during regular gameplay, while also making zero sense and has only been usable in Armageddon. Many years later, NetherRealm would adapt this move for Movado in Mortal Kombat 1. However, it behaves differently. Both characters now take damage, and the user himself, Movado, is not getting hit. Oh, and also no telekinesis, so technically this move has only been in one game, but Mortal Kombat 1 pays an homage to it, right? I'm not breaking my rule here, because these two moves on screen are very different. Next up is Tanya's boomerang, which I'm very excited to talk about because it's only in Mortal Kombat 4. And as a result, most players forget that Tanya's first weapon was a boomerang. Instead, she's mainly known for her tonfas thanks to Deception and also Mortal Kombat X. But her debut weapon was much sillier. In Mortal Kombat 4, Tanya wielded a cartoonishly large boomerang that returns after hitting the opponent. However, if you miss the opponent or they block it, the boomerang will not come back. So that's a pretty fun feature and makes the weapon feel more unique. Because for anyone not aware, every character in Mortal Kombat 4 has their own unique weapon. But if they drop the weapon, then the opponent can pick it up and use it against you, so it's very fun. But Tanya's boomerang can actually come back after hitting the opponent, so it's quite unique in that regard. And most people watching consider boomerangs toys and not weapons. But actually, for a fun fact, boomerangs were originally used as hunting weapons. Or in other words, boomerangs were used to kill things. That was their primary function. Which means that technically a big boomerang is perfect for Mortal Kombat. It's designed for killing. Alright, next up is Raiden's Rolling Thunder in Mortal Kombat 11. And this game in particular has tons of one-off moves that are really rare, but most of them are spin-offs of other attacks and just not that interesting in general. They're not weird enough. So I'm not going to mention Mortal Kombat 11 too much in this video, even though it does have tons of rare attacks. They're just not that unique or interesting. But Raiden's Rolling Thunder is special and unique in my opinion. It's a tiny little cloud that travels on the floor and does tiny damage to the opponent. The startup is slow, the damage is very little, and avoiding this cloud is super easy. Or in other words, this move kinda sucks. Which is more interesting than you might think because NetherRealm gave this move to Raiden almost 2 years later after release. Yeah, in other words, it's a new move given to the Thunder God, and you would think that that would make it a good move because why else give it to him? But nope, this move is practically useless. In fact, if you ask around, most players consider this move a bottom 5 attack in the entire game. Or to put it a different way, the developers waited over 1.5 years later to give Raiden a nearly useless move. Why did they do that? Not only is this move super unique, but also its inclusion is so funny and has mystery behind it. I really do lay awake at night wondering why developers waited so long to give Raiden this move. Not only is it really bad, but also it takes up a customization slot, and you only get 3, which means most people will never even use this move, ever. Which is one more reason I find Raiden's thundercloud really interesting. But next up, let's talk about Ashrah's voodoo doll, which some viewers might consider cheating because it's not a regular attack, instead it's a fatality. However, even so, I wanted to include it because no other character has used voodoo in Mortal Kombat's entire history. That's right, keep in mind this series has been around for over 30 years and there's been so many games, and yet nobody besides Ashrah has a voodoo attack. Literally only Ashrah has used this move, but even for her, it's only in one game, Mortal Kombat Deception. After that, she never uses voodoo along with any other character in the Mortal Kombat series, which once again is shocking because you would think that tons of characters would use voodoo because it's so creepy, it's dark and mysterious, but nope. Only Ashrah has ever utilized any voodoo attacks, which is funny for Ashrah specifically because she's such a noble character with a righteous cause and even dresses like a good guy because she is a good guy technically. She does some really bad stuff unintentionally, but she has good intentions, right? She wants to be a good guy and redeem herself, yet voodoo doll. Alright, next up is Kitana's fan stab. Yep, Kitana gets to appear twice in this video because I find her fan toss in Deadly Alliance very strange and unique. For this one game, Kitana only has one fan toss per round. That's right, the move she can normally spam in every other game, the move that Kitana is famous for. You can only use it once in Deadly Alliance. As the player, you only get one chance to land this attack, and after that, it's gone for the entire round. Which sounds crazy, and honestly, it kinda is. However, if you do hit the opponent, it does non-stop damage to them the entire round until they die. So in other words, it's bleed damage, which was new to the series actually. And it sounds like a nice trade-off on paper, right? You get this one-time use move, but if it lands, the opponent just takes damage the entire round. It's high risk and high reward. But even so, Kitana is known for her fan toss, so giving her only one per round is really weird. It's honestly very mind-boggling that Midway turned Kitana's most popular particular move into a one-off attack, one per round. It's just so interesting. That would be like giving Sonya only one leg grab, or Liu Kang only one bicycle kick. It's such a bizarre decision gameplay-wise. Now with that said, Deadly Alliance was kind of a fresh start for the series, right? Developers tried tons of new stuff in these 3D era games, and Kitana's fan stab is just one instance of that, but I find it so interesting and unique, because this specific move never existed before. A fan toss that does bleed damage never happened afterwards either. It only exists in Deadly Alliance. And alright everyone, there you have it, the rarest attacks in Mortal Kombat history. As mentioned earlier, I tried to limit myself to attacks that are actually interesting, because some games like Mortal Kombat 11 have tons of one-off attacks. However, most of them are spin-offs from other attacks or just aren't that interesting. So I didn't want to spend too much time on that one game. And also mentioned earlier, I had to avoid certain characters like Meat who only appear in one game, because technically, by definition, all of their attacks are unique, which meant this video would have been all about them. And as it turns out, I already have that video on screen right now, so if you want to watch a video about Meat or other one-off characters in the Mortal Kombat series, chances are I've already covered them in a full video. So thanks for watching everyone, and I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, please leave a like down below, it helps the channel out a ton. And then finish that combo by subscribing and ringing that bell so you never miss any future videos. Make sure to come back next time, and as always, stay underdogs.